welcome to another Flick and the Bozman show. And Boz, do you have any idea what that song I was playing was?
That was Moonlight Sonata by Beethoven.
That's
He always puts me to sleep.
that's way off, but well, it might be close in type of song, but no, it was not Beethoven. We may find out later in the show who that was,
Oh,
as
no,
he or she or they may come up in a trivia question.
oh boy, trivia
Okay.
time. No, not yet.
Not trivia time yet. Not trivia time yet. And Boz, it sounds as if you're not getting the Met GM president of operation, whatever job was open. Doesn't sound like you're getting it.
I'll be glad to take the president of baseball operations and have no real authority. I'll give him full authority on player, evaluation and signings.
Just don't take the big office. Take the smaller office.
Exactly. My father always wanted to be the chairman emeritus of a company.
Yes.
You get paid to do nothing.
Yes. I think we may have some of those where I work, but that's hopefully they're not listening. Okay. Well, I allocated 10 minutes for the Mets, and I seriously doubt we want to spend so much time. But what are your thoughts on Noah Syndergaard not going to be a Met going forward?
I'm not overly disappointed. My immediate reaction was, "Yay, we get another draft pick!" But it's after the second round, and I don't even know what happens if and when Conforto signs with somebody else. I think we get another pick in that same sort of compensation round. So you get a draft pick that's somewhere in like the mid 60s to late 70s, and you go, "Yay!" I don't know. Maybe there's a good player there if you want to spend the money. Based on the Mets, performance the last few years, are we confident they're going to use these picks well?
Whatever the question is, no, I'm not confident.
Confident, yeah, right. So, I mean, on the one hand, $19 million, give or take, was a lot for Noah. I don't have full confidence that he's going to be back next year. And doing what we thought he would do. I understand why the Angels gave him the 21. I think it was 21 or 20 and change.
Yeah, where'd they come up with that? It just go $3 million more and hope that that's enough. It was only a 1-year deal, right?
Yeah, and I'm sure that was the conversation. Just enough to get him away from the Mets and make it worth their while, worth his while to switch sides of the country. So my take on pitching in general is there are literally 50, decent to very good free agent pitchers right now. Don't overspend for anybody. And $18, $20 million for Noah is an overspend for this year. He's not going to be worth that. Chances are. Now, is there some chance he comes out and does like Kevin Gausman did last year? Yeah, of course. He is that good. I just haven't seen it, and I haven't seen it in several years from him, that level of pitching. So I'm glad they didn't overspend. I'm glad they got the compensation pick. I hope they have a similar approach with Stroman. Don't get attached to him. If you're going to spend, what I saw from Fangraphs is they predicted he would get 4 years and $100 million. Good, get it. Let somebody else do that. That's a stupid contract for him based on what you might have to pay, say, an Alex Cobb to give you 90% of the same numbers.
Let's take the same amount. Let's take 1 year for 21. Would Stroman take it?
No. I think he wants a multi-year deal.
All right, 2 for 42.
No. I think someone's going to offer him, much more than that. Someone's going to offer him a 4 or 5 year deal worth, 20 plus a year. And that's fine. He's a good pitcher. He's a all-star level pitcher when he's pitching well. And, he was probably borderline all-star last year. That's fine. You can go get Disclafani, however you say that name, the Giants free agent, for, half the price you're going to give Stroman and have a decent chance that he'll outpitch Stroman next year.
I'm sure the guy I'm going to mention will get a better deal, and I don't know if he'll do better, but I've always been thinking who could be the next Eckersley, a really good starter who becomes just a awesome reliever.
Yeah,
And when I heard Verlander mentioned this morning, I don't know if he'd take it because he'll get a lot of money to be a starter.
yeah,
I could see him being that kind of guy, though, that
yeah. You
pitches an
know,
inning or two and gets 40 saves in 45 outings. And what is it? Just the money's not there as a reliever?
yeah. You'll get, for a top reliever, you get 15, 16 million, right? For a top starter, you get twice that. So, uh, yeah, that's the case. Yeah, I look down the list. If you tell me for the money that you can offer a Max Scherzer
No.
of $35 million a year, you could get
No.
Carlos Rodon, you could get Kluber and Pineda, all three of them for the same money, and I'll guarantee you that between the three of them, you'll get better performance uh, overall.
Yeah, and depending how you're judging that, ERA or wins or just innings eaten up or something.
Yeah, quality innings, where
Quality innings.
right, wins above replacement in total, you're going to do much better with those three guys than you will from Scherzer.
And who is this guy the Mets hired?
Billy Epler, William to his friends. He is a former Yankees assistant general manager who
My
was
theory is he was next to Theo in the phone book.
could have been, yes. Uh, uh, he was definitely part of that great Yankee team of the the 2011 to 2015 era when they failed to make the playoffs, and parlayed that into uh, being the general manager of the Angels, and oversaw them getting as high as 80 wins. Um, yeah, I don't know.
He's a guy.
He's a guy. He said yes. Um, so there was I forget what movie it was where somebody was saying, how did you end up married? Well, she tricked me. She said yes.
Never saw that coming.
Yeah,
that I tricked my wife by asking. That was
that's
that's what,
exactly right. She tricked you by saying yes.
no, that was I was fine with that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't do many smart things, but
That was three of them.
yeah, that was three of them. That was three of them for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, I'm sure we'll be talking about the Mets as the show goes on. Not this episode, but as we keep the show going. This is I put a little note. This is the 48th episode since we've been back with this second go around
Uh,
with F and B. And
let me just say
I don't
one
know
more
what.
thing on. Let me just say one more
Yeah,
thing on the Mets.
of course you can.
Don't overspend for a spot where there's multiple options, like starting pitching, like the outfield, corner outfield. You're going to need to overspend if you want to solve center field with a real center fielder, because there is exactly one good real center field free agent. There's one, and that's Starling Marte. That's it.
Yeah,
There's nobody else. And if you want to
someone's going
trade
to
for
overpay
somebody,
for
you're
him.
going to have to spend an arm and a leg.
Someone's going to overpay for Marte, right?
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to overpay him. I mean, it for the next couple of years. I thought when the Brewers signed Lorenzo Cain a few years ago, they were going to overpay him, and they didn't. They paid him. They paid him properly. He's been good for them. And so, if you have to spend, I saw two contracts on Fangraphs for Marte. One was 4 for 72 or 76, and the other was 2 for 50. And I would do either of those.
I'm I'm doing some math in my head. Yeah, I guess I'm okay with that.
Because option B is going with Nimmo, and Nimmo
Eh,
is a better left fielder. He's a
yeah,
plus left fielder, and he's an okay center fielder.
Yeah, he's not a plus center fielder.
No.
No, no, I
And he
agree
ends
with
up
you.
hurt playing center field. He ends up, you can save his legs and you can save his just wear and tear on his body by getting him out of center field. It's
No,
a hard position to play physically, running from gap to gap like that.
I do think you're right there. Um, well, we'll see what their next big move is, and you follow it closer than me. Is there going to be some sort of work stoppage or whatever they're going to call this in December?
I'm hearing no. I'm reading no. I think they're gonna. There may be a time when they don't get things signed on schedule. It may go past whatever it is, December 2nd or something, and drag into late December or January. But the the people who know things that I read seem to think that it won't affect preseason. It won't affect spring training. Never know when something like this will happen.
What the heck is making noise?
That's me. Sorry.
Oh, I don't. I
That was
just
the
want.
Geico Gecko.
I just want to know that I'm not hearing things.
I was.
Is it my time? Is it my time?
I should murder who? What?
Yeah, exactly. I will try not to. I will try not to do either during the next half hour. So die or murder anyone.
Yeah.
All
Very
right.
good.
We will certainly talk more Mets in future episodes, but we have to. We have to congratulate you on a 5-0 week in your
Woohoo!
selection. Okay, not
Woohoo!
even a tie in there, and
The
just
tie, yes.
no. You had
Navigated
all
it all.
winners. I strategically did not make the Steelers one of the games, so
That
so
seemed like a slam dunk. Who would have thought that Detroit would even be in that game?
you can listen to episode 47 where I said that I think there's a tie brewing
You did
somewhere,
say that. That is correct.
if you don't want to torture yourself and listen to the whole thing, it's about minute 32. I'm talking to other people, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course, Boz listens to every episode over and over just to improve on the little things he does.
Of course.
But we'll start with some games this week, and for those out there who want to try to beat you, it was impossible this week. You could not beat the Boz. You have to get one more game at least right than the Boz, and you can get your picks. No lines, no spreads. We're absolutely not encouraging any of that stuff. I'm discouraging for one, but
Yeah.
um, get your picks in here on the YouTube site if you're listening on YouTube, or you could email us at flickboz@gmail.com or Twitter, which is at flickboz. But you couldn't win last week, so we got to give people a shot to win this week.
I will do
I,
my best.
I want you to go no better than 4-0-1. I don't know how somebody would get 5 if you're 4-0-1, but I'll figure that out another time.
All right.
Have you looked at the games? I know we're a little earlier than usual this week.
I have done no research. It's going to be all off the top of my head.
I could give you games that aren't really happening, but
I
okay.
do have the games in front of me. I couldn't tell you. That's what I had. That's what was talking. The Geico Gecko was talking because that came up.
So you've studied it for exactly 4 minutes. All right.
Yep.
Packers at Vikings.
Packers at the Vikings.
That's what I said.
And you had the Vikings coming with, I thought, an impressive win against the Clippers there. And damn it, the Chargers. But the Packers got a good win with Rodgers. I almost picked against Rodgers, knowing that he was coming back from COVID. I was fairly sure he would play last week, even though they didn't decide until Saturday night. But it seemed like that was the way things were headed. And he was a little rusty. He was not good, but their defense was very good. And it's possible that Russell Wilson still had some effects of his finger injury. But the Pack looks really good. They are certainly a potential 1 seed in the NFC. I still don't trust the Vikings. I know that they're at home and they usually play pretty well at home. I'm not a big Kirk Cousins fan. I feel like he's just, I don't know. I know statistically he shows up as a a good quarterback that you can win with, but they don't win. He doesn't win. I think his win loss record as the Viking is like 1 or 2 games over 500 in his career now, and for
I don't
35
send
million or
any.
whatever he's making, I don't get it.
I don't send a lot of texts on Sunday during the games, especially, but I did text you when the Vikings were. I
Yep.
think they were. I think they were up 10, and I just wrote, "Is Minnesota going to lose in regulation or overtime?" And it turns out it was neither.
I think I said neither one. Is how'd they do that? So I will pick the Pack. Uh, it's maybe an obvious pick there, but Vikings can be tough at home.
I noticed there were a lot of 1 o'clock games and not many 4 o'clock games for us here in the East. But another one of those 1 o'clock games, I I said I didn't know how long it had been since Washington had played, but somehow they came out and beat Tom Brady in Tampa. But this week they're going to Carolina, so it's Washington at Carolina.
And we had the return of Cam Newton to the
Sort
Panthers
of,
last
kind of,
week.
yeah.
I didn't realize this, but I actually know a Panthers fan, and I didn't know that there was one, but I actually know one.
They really do exist.
They do. And not only that, but he showed up on a Zoom call wearing his Cam Newton jersey the
Oh,
next day after they re-signed him.
that's next level. That's the only. That's the day after they signed him, not the day after the win.
No, after they signed, no, he had it from years before, and
Wow,
got it out of the mothballs.
very
So
nice.
full
Good
props to
effort.
my good friend Jeff Beck, who will never hear this. Uh, anyhow, that's a good win for them. I think he will be value add. They also got Christian McCaffrey back, which was a huge. Not that I think he had been back the week before, but he seemed a bit healthier this week. And he is a big part of their offense. I know Washington has been playing, I'll say, better than their 3-6 record. But I think with Cam and Christian, I'm going to go with the Panthers.
Gonna go with the Panthers. Nice, nice. I don't know if I agree or disagree, or I don't have an opinion, but that's all right. That's all right.
What was the
Game.
old line? If are you apathetic or ignorant, Coach? I don't know, and I don't
I
care.
don't know, and I don't care. That's it. That's probably about right. Um, uh, Game 3. If you're trying to beat the Boz, well, you are the Boz. But if you out there in podcast listening world are trying to beat the Boz, this is the third game you have to deal with, and it's a battle of teams that just excelled last week, and that's the Bengals at the Raiders.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
The Bengals just a couple of weeks ago were the presumptive number one seed in the AFC. Now I think they're fourth in their division. 2 weeks later, that is a tough trick to accomplish. And yet, the Raiders may have accomplished something better. They may have blown their entire season between the Henry Ruggs thing and losing the last couple of games. I think they finished or they scored right after halftime, right, to pull to within 3 of the Chiefs, and that
Well,
was the last time
yeah.
they were anywhere close. So I think the Raiders are in danger of having their season spiral out of control. I think the Bengals need to get back on track, and I think this is the week they do it. I'm going to pick the Bengals on the road in Las Vegas to edge out the Raiders. I'm not going to say by how much, if it's 3 or 30, but I think the Bengals get it done here. I'm not confident that the Raiders are going to be able to keep the ship from sinking here.
I, I'm going to ask a question about the game last night, the Monday night game.
Yeah.
And that was a right before the half thing, too. So your Rams, who I think you said were easily going to make the playoffs and would be in the Final Four. I think
Yep,
you said that, but
I did.
we recorded 50 versions, so it's hard to say. So they were down, I believe, 21-7 right
Yeah,
before the half.
right.
I might be if I'm off by three or something on that. Don't it doesn't really affect where I'm going with it. So they get a penalty. They're in field goal range, but not easy field goal range. They're maybe in 40-yard field goal range, something along those lines. And there's 30 or so seconds left, and it's a third down. So they run a play that picks up 5 yards or so,
Yeah,
and they call their last timeout, but they call it with 25 seconds.
right.
So here's what I don't like about that. And I don't pick on the Rams too much for time management or things like that. If you're calling the timeout, it kind of tells me, well, you're seriously thinking of going for it. May have been a 4th and 4 or something like that. Again, I
Yeah,
didn't write any of this down, but let's say they got 4th and 4 or a 35-yard field goal.
yeah.
I'm pretty close with those numbers. And they call a timeout, their last. I don't get why they called the timeout if they're going to send the field goal unit on.
Right.
So I'm on the other, if I'm on the other side, I'm thinking, what the heck are they doing? Either they're either they're going for something's weird, or they're just dumb for calling a timeout. Because why give the Niners any time with the ball? What if the Niners get a return to the 50 and run a play and get a few? So I didn't like the timeout.
So they
So,
so they faked the field goal.
well, I didn't, I'll admit, in my head, tired at the time, not really caring about the Monday Night Football game, they run a fake.
Yeah,
Well, if I'm on the other side thinking what I was thinking, maybe I would have thought of, hey, watch the fake.
yeah. That,
Now, the guy, the guy made
sorry.
a great,
Sorry, I did it
yeah.
again. I was trying to do the damn ESPN thing. That was trying to catch up with you on what happened.
Oh, okay. Well, you're back. You're here.
Back.
We
I'm
never
here.
lost. But anyway, a smart person really paying attention to the game might have been watch the fake.
Yeah,
And it was a very nice play to prevent the first down on the fake. There were kind of two options to throw it to. They got some pressure on. I guess it was the holder rolling out. Wasn't
yeah,
the kicker, I don't think. And that Niners made a good play, and that was the half. I just think the timeout gave it away.
yeah. I don't know how you fake it in that spot and not have them spot it. Right? If you run the field goal kicking unit out there real quick and snap it with 15 seconds left or whatever, that doesn't work
I
because
just, I couldn't come up with an easy way to run the fake.
no. Yeah,
or
I
the,
think
or the why. What I'm thinking is, if the fake goes well and you pick up a first down, neither of the two receivers would have been deep enough for a touchdown, I don't think, unless they were just left alone. So at best, you're trying to make a 40-yard field goal more like a 25-yard field goal.
right.
Eh,
Yeah.
eh, I don't, I don't see it.
So yeah, I think you probably just take the points in that spot.
Yeah, kick the field goal. It's 21-10, and you move on.
Yeah.
Bad half, and you go for it. And
Yep. No, I
yeah,
agree.
I did, and not. I still like the coach. He's had a rough couple weeks, I think.
He has, and the Rams have to be hugely disappointed in their fans with you. That was the first game, right, with Von Miller, and then also with
Yeah,
Odell, and they go out and lay an egg.
yeah. Are you just thinking we got these guys now? It's just going to be easy, or now it's going to happen, or
Yeah.
it's just one of those things. Divisional game.
From that
We're
perspective,
trying.
it
We're
reminds
going
me a little bit of how Dean Smith used to say he'd love a loss for his Tar Heels in like December, so he could really yell at his team and get their attention.
Yeah,
When
and
you
that was a
coast through that early season schedule that they used to have, and you end up,
yeah.
12-0 going into the ACC season. Again, so my point is for the Rams, like this is something that McVay can use and say, hey guys, they're not going to just roll over to us just because we got Von Miller and Odell on this team.
Yeah, I just think they've had one too many teaching moments now.
Yeah. That said, though, who hasn't at this point, right? I mean, who hasn't gone out and laid an egg?
Well, it sure makes catching Arizona a whole lot harder.
Yeah, yeah, they had an opportunity.
All right, game 4. Enough of
Game
that
four.
minutia of a field goal attempt or a non-field goal attempt. The Dallas Cowboys at the Kansas City Chiefs.
That is going to be the game of the week. This might be one of the better games. Is it the game of the week? I have to double check on that. There was another game I think too that. Oh no, maybe it's next week. Yeah, I think this is the game. This is the game I had circled that I wanted to try to see. Um, I started to say before with the Raiders game, um, and I texted you yesterday. Like, I think I picked the Chiefs not to make the playoffs. Although I did say that if they make the playoffs, they have a chance to make the Super Bowl.
That was
Uh,
that
yeah.
was yes, that was a bit of a hedge. Yes.
Well, I mean, the exercise last week, in my defense, such as it was which teams have a chance to make the Super Bowl, and then at the end you said who's making the playoffs, and they do have a chance to make the Super Bowl.
Right.
Said that last week. Now, though, you asked me today. They're to me they looked like the Chiefs. They look like the
they
Chiefs from the last 3-4 years here, and I would be surprised if they don't win the division. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up getting a 2 or a 3 seed here.
yeah.
I do think they're going to have a hard time catching the Titans, who have the easiest schedule of any good team left. Maybe the easiest schedule of any team left. I haven't looked at everybody's schedule from that, but they don't. They have 2 hard games left. The Titans. I think it's at New England and at
So
Pittsburgh.
I'll go this far. Let's say Buffalo gets knocked off somewhere along the line, and it's KC at Titans in the AFC Championship. You're telling me KC doesn't have a shot? No, of
Oh,
course they have a
absolutely,
shot.
they do.
Yeah,
Because the Titans are going to get home field advantage, is what I'm saying,
I would think so.
and they're going to get the first round bye. But
I would think
the
so.
Chiefs should be right there, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if they're playing in the AFC Championship game, and if they're playing at Tennessee, I would think that they should win that game because the
They're
Titans without Derrick Henry,
yeah.
I just don't know how good they are.
No, the so far the Adrian Peterson experiment has not.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got some carries, and
so
but
so my
he's not
point, and I
doing
do have one, is I'm taking the Chiefs.
Yeah, over the Cowboys, who certainly were impressive last week. But
Yep.
yeah, I agree. It's without a rooting interest, and as a Jet fan, I try not to root for any other team or the Jets. Yeah, I'll just try to get an hour out of my day and watch a little Dallas and Kansas City. It should be
Yeah,
interesting.
that should be a
All
fun
right, your
watch.
final game, and I'll read all 5 off for the people playing at home, and I'll put these games on Twitter as well. Most of the people seem to play off of Twitter, so a couple email and 1 or 2 have done it on YouTube, but you can do it any way you want as long as you're in there before the first game starts. And I don't use the Thursday games, but anyway, Steelers at Chargers.
Steelers at Chargers, 2 very disappointing teams, both headed in the wrong direction. I mean, the Steelers have to be just embarrassed by getting tied by Detroit last week. I think they did everything possible to not be competitive in that game. Chargers, I keep waiting and waiting for. I bought in early in the season to the Abear or Herbert. I did that by accident that time. Uh, uh, Mystique, and their last 4 weeks they've lost by 28 to the Ravens. Got edged at home by the Patriots. uh, went out and beat the Eagles by 3 in Philly, and lost to the Vikings at home. It's not an impressive array. Um, the Steelers, I've always thought, were a little questionable this season, but I don't know what to think of the Patriots, of the Chargers. Where did the Patriots come from?
They're
I
in
don't
your
know what to think of the
subconscious
Patriots either.
somewhere.
Was that?
They're in your subconscious.
Yes, yes, they're in my brain. Uh, I don't know what to think of the Chargers. I just, they're 2-3 at home. Uh, they just seem very disappointing, and I like their coach. I see, a month ago I was reading that he was the coach of the year, and now they've lost three
I
of the
may have
last
mumbled
four.
that on a show. Yes.
I don't know. I mean, this is a tough one. My inclination is that the Steelers will bounce back and play with some fire after not doing that last week. Without Roethlisberger, obviously last week, but hopefully he'll be back this week. I'm going to go with the Steelers. It's kind of a reluctant pick. They're both. I mean, I know they're both over 500, and one of them has the winner of this game will have an edge towards making the playoffs.
Yeah. This
But
is one where doing the show Tuesday instead of Thursday or Friday makes a difference because you don't know about Ben. But
yeah,
I try to put the Sunday night game in there when I can, and
yeah,
I could.
should be
So
an interesting one. I'll go with the Steelers and semi reluctantly here.
just to recap, you have taken the Packers to defeat the Vikings. You took Carolina to use that home field to defeat Washington. You're picking the Bengals to travel and beat the Raiders. You're taking KC at home against the Cowboys. And then going back on the road with the Steelers to defeat the Chargers.
That is correct.
So you went road, home, road, home, road.
I suppose I did.
Probably not what you were trying to do, and you probably don't care, but I noticed it. All right. So if you can beat the Boz, get your selections in before the Sunday 1:00 Eastern games. And if you win, well, what do I win? You can be on the show. What an honor! You can tell your friends. You can use it as your profile on Insta, TikTok, or whatever. I don't know. But it's quite an honor. It's quite an honor. I know that much. Are you ready for some trivia?
Trivia time! Trivia time! I am ready.
Get me out of the NFL here. You're ready for some college football trivia?
Not at all, but go for it.
Okay. Kenny Pickett. Have you heard of him?
Slim. No, Wilson.
Wilson.
Wilson's son.
Kenny Pickett became the all-time leading passing yardage leader at the University of Pitt.
Okay.
Somebody's daughter may have been there for him to take that first place spot.
Okay.
But I wanted to know, who did he pass for that number one spot? And I'll give you a bit of a hint. It is not Dan Marino.
Oh, that was going to be my guess.
Yeah, I think it would be every sane person's guess.
Yes. Who else went to Pitt? Jeff George.
The Jeff George. He went a lot of places. He went to Canada and USFL.
Yeah, but you're talking about college.
I am.
Talking about practice.
I wrote it. I like the guess. Jeff George. I wrote it. As we mentioned, there was a tie this week. It was a 16-16 tie. Is that accurate? I do believe so. 16-16 tie. It's only the fourth such score ever in NFL history. The first one was in the 1920s and featured the Washington, can I say the name? That's what they were named in the 20s.
Yes.
The Washington Redskins versus whom?
That would be your Canton Bulldogs.
Canton Bulldogs. Canton Bulldogs.
I usually go for such a thing. I usually never pass on an opportunity to say the Providence Steamrollers. I still think that's a great nickname for a football team.
I'll tell you this: if you don't have it right, you're at least on the right boulevard. You're
all right.
You're in the right neighborhood. I told you, beware of the trivia this time around because I opened it up for people to send in trivia questions for you to attempt, and
Uh-oh.
some people did.
Uh-oh.
And here you go. Now you have to go to the last week of NFL football. So if a team was off, they do not qualify, okay?
Okay.
4 starting quarterbacks went to Big 10 colleges. Name 3 of them, and I'll be generous and give you 4 guesses.
4 starting quarterbacks from this past Sunday
Yes.
or
Or
Monday
Monday's fine, or
or
even
Thursday.
Thursday. But you can't make the mistake I made when this person wrote the trivia, and you can't give them a team that was off.
Okay. So let's see. Went to which conference again? Big
Big
10?
10.
Big 10. All right. So it is not any of those guys. I don't think it's Tannehill. It's not what's his name from the Colts. Houston, no. Mahomes, I don't think so. Herbert,
You and this Herbert.
Carr, Bridgewater. Where did Dak go? Dak went to Texas Tech or something, right?
I'm just a listener.
Just a singer in a rock and roll band.
Exactly.
That's what we should have done for the closeout music, a little Moody Blues.
Too late now.
Honor
We'll save it for episode 49.
Hertz is a guy.
He is a guy.
There's
I'm
one.
writing this down. Hertz is a guy.
Hertz got Hoyt. You have to be really old to get that joke.
Oh, well, I'm really old.
No, not even older than that. Older than me.
Wow.
Justin Fields for the Bears.
that was the error I made.
Yeah. Goff, no. Brady.
Chicago was not playing, correct?
Chicago was not playing, but the
That
Bears
was
that
was the errata I had in my guess.
Brady is a Big Ten quarterback.
Brady's a pretty solid guess.
Simeon, I have no idea. The Panthers guy, I have no idea.
Come on.
I couldn't even tell you his name. Was it C.J. Matthews or something like that?
That was R.Q. Parker or something.
Yeah. Ryan was BC. Stafford. I don't remember who was starting for the Cardinals. Stafford. Russell Wilson is a Wisconsin guy.
Okay.
Did he graduate from there or did he graduate from NC State? I forget. But I'm going to go with Russell Wilson.
I don't need graduates. I just need, I don't want to get into all the documentation.
Well, I mean, where did he get drafted out of? I think it was Wisconsin. But it may have been the other way around.
Was that 4 guesses yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had Brady. What did I have? I had
you had Brady, Russell. You had
Fields and
Fields
and Hertz.
Fields and Hertz. Okay. We move on to question 4. Question 4 was sent in by a listener.
Uh-oh.
What an NFL team has the current longest streak without being shut out? Do you want a hint or two?
Sure.
I don't know how the first hint would help, but they haven't been shut out since 2002.
That's a good long time. That is a long time to go.
And that was against the Niners.
The Niners.
So I would not guess the Niners.
Okay. That's a good tip. I will not guess the Niners.
Hard to shut yourself out.
Does that mean it's an NFC team?
I did not say that.
It does not necessarily, but that does seem like
you had to take a guess out of nowhere. That may be
the Cowboys. Packers. I'll go with the Packers.
The Packers. Okay. The Packers. We move on to question 5. Let's see. I go for some this date in history trivia.
Yep.
And this New York baseball star, that's vague enough, was born on November 16th, 1964.
1964 would make him 57.
Was I vague enough with New York baseball star?
New York baseball star, sure. Well,
He played for both.
Played for both. He's 57.
That's
So
some
64,
math right there.
he would have been a rookie perhaps in early 80s, which could be Darryl Goodenberry.
That's vague.
I'm gonna say Straw.
You're gonna say straw.
And for those of you wondering about the Goodenberry, that was an old Ralph Kinerism when he was hitting the bottle a little bit. He would sometimes not get everybody's name quite right. Gary Cooper behind the plate, and what's that?
Question 6 was sort of referenced before, but Sunday Night Football had some tough competition this week. It was going up against a concert. It was able to defeat that concert, but it was fairly close from what I saw, about an average of 14 million viewers versus just about 10 million for the concert by this young lady who sang our opening song today. And I want to know who that was.
Well, it wasn't Beethoven. Despite my earlier guess as to
You're amending the earlier guess.
Intro. No, I'm going to stick with that because it was eerily similar and equally sleepy. The only person that I can think of, well, I don't know. I'll just put everybody out of their misery and say Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift. Not fragile.
I'm trying to think who's big enough to carry a concert on a Sunday night and come close to the same viewership as football.
Oh, you know who could have been who does sleepy music? Can I amend that? I think somebody had. Didn't Adele have a big show?
You're the expert here. You're the guy who went 5-0.
Adele's good at sleepy music. I'm going to go with her.
You're going with Adele. Oh, you did. Oh boy! Imagine if the Boz was 5-0 in trivia, and could have been 6-0, but now has made this last-minute change from Taylor Swift to Adele.
Imagine.
That would be tragic. Tragic. But just to run down the questions and the Boz's answers. Kenny Pickett became the all-time leading passer in yardage at the University of Pitt. Who did he pass for the number 1 spot? And it is not Dan Marino. And Dave has guessed Jeff George. And whenever the Boz can guess the Canton Bulldogs, he tries it, and he tried it in this 16-16 tie game, only the 4th 16-16 tie in NFL history. And the very first 16-16 tie was the Washington Redskins versus this team. And Dave went with the Bulldogs, of course. 4 NFL starting QBs this past week went to Big Ten schools. Name 3 of them, and I'll even give you 4 guesses. And Dave came up with Brady, Russell Wilson, Fields, and Hurts. Those are your 4 guesses, I believe.
Those were the 4 guesses, and I'm pretty sure they were all Big Ten quarterbacks, at least at one point in their college career.
What NFL team has gone the longest current streak without being shut out? And that was in a 2002 game versus the Niners. And the Boz has gone with the Packers. And this NFL baseball star was born on November 16th, 1964. And Boz has gone with Darryl Strawberry. And the Sunday Night Football game had some tough competition in the ratings this week. It was still able to win. But what concert did it have to defeat? And in a last-second switch, Dave has gone with Adele, one of his favorites. Your favorite Adele song is what now?
Rolling in the Deep.
That might even be the title. That's good work by you.
Deep in the
And
roll.
get your selections in before Sunday, and we will see you when we do another show, probably next week. But you never know when there might be an emergency type broadcast. So be alert. And thanks to those of you who are listening and playing along. We do appreciate it. Dave, thanks as always.
Thank you, Flick.